friends, thanks for coming over to have a look at the flip through of this writer's art journal. What is a writer's art journal? Well, this is a pretty journal. It's very pretty, and it can be written in, journaled in, or you could use it as an art journal. And let me explain what I did and how I created it before we get into it. So first of all, the cover is made out of a really pretty vintage, either napkin or, and I mean cloth, or handkerchief. I'm not sure really what it was, but I found it at an estate sale and it's just so pretty. So I made the cover out of that, and then I added some really pretty pink crocheted doilies to it. And then when we get inside of the journal, you will notice some clear, clean papers to write on. And you will also notice some handmade papers that I created. These are all the originals, they're not copies. And they're artsy. They have, for example, one of them has watercolor, but then I also added some stamping and some paper napkin. So all on one piece of paper. And there's a few of those in there. And then there's some eco dyes in there that I did. There might be some gel prints, I'm not sure. I tried to make the journals have variety, but also be cohesive. So it may or may not have some gel prints in it. But at any rate, eco dyes and just pretty papers, just coffee dyed papers and my artsy papers and all of that. So I wanted to let you know that it will be available in my Etsy shop if you are interested. As you can see, it is covered, this is a hardcover. It's covered with a vintage handkerchief, and there's actually 2 layers of fabric here. So we've got the vintage handkerchief, and then I added some doilies. You can see the threads going through the spine here. I left that exposed. And then here's the back. It's got nice frilly frayed edges on both the top and the bottom. And when you open it up, you'll notice that it's got my handmade papers in it. Some of these are coffee dyed, some of these are tea dyed, some of these are dyed with watercolors, and then some stenciling. I call this a writing journal because there are, these papers are regular scrapbook papers. You could maybe do some watercolor on it, but they might wrinkle. So I would say it's a writing journal. These are not mixed media papers or paint papers. So that's why I would, put it in that category. This is a pink coffee dyed paper, and this is one of my, what do we call those, eco prints. And so I worked with some plants and made some. So this has some really nice, unique handmade papers in it. Also some vintage papers. This is a vintage envelope, and you can see this lady right through the window here. So I just think it's full of beautiful, beautiful papers. Another eco dye. And just a joy to have if you're a journaler. This one was eco dye with my rose. I grabbed some roses from my garden and did an eco dye with that one. This one is a tea dyed with, I'm trying to think, pomegranate tea maybe, which comes out purple, which is so lovely. This is another one of my rose ones. You can see the perfect rose leaves through there. This is coffee and gold. This is pink and coffee. Vintage envelope with a little bit of paper napkin on it. I think it looks so good. This is another eco dye. Pink coffee dye. Some stencils. Rose eco dye. And then plant eco dye. Can you see this was a long leaves that this particular plant had. Vintage music paper that has been coffee and pink dyed. This one is the pomegranate tea, and I had the tea bag laying here, so you'll notice on some of the papers it's dark in one area, but then there's some nice coloring on the rest of it as well. more of the leaves from the rose bush. Many of the pages I tore so that you get this beautiful, can you see it? Can you tell? Maybe you can't see it from that angle, but anyway, I'll show it to you when I'm done. Oh, and yeah, let me show you. I did some pretty beads, whoops, some pretty beads, and some of them have little rhinestones in them. The second signature, this also has some pretty beads with rhinestones and sparkles. I think this is where I left off. More vintage music paper. That's pretty. I must have added some sprays or something on there. That turned out super pretty. Love that. Pretty eco dye. Look at all the different colors in there. And this one I did, this was dyed with the watercolor, but then I did some stenciling and then also some paper napkin. My pink sparkly coffee dyed. You can see a fern print here. Vintage music paper. Rose petals. Nice stencil. And then in this is another set of pretty beads and rhinestone there. I loved combining all these different papers. I think it looks so pretty. I'm going to have this available in my Etsy shop if you like it. This one has stencils and stamps and some napkin. Same here. Doesn't that turn out so pretty, you guys? Love it. You can see that the paper can handle some wetness, so you could do some mixed media in here if you wanted to. I mean, basically that's what I've done on like a paper like this. And the papers are pretty much already wrinkled, so it really wouldn't hurt them. So here in this center of this one, we've got some more beads and rhinestones. So friends, I hope you like these journals so far. This was a great way for me to get my papers into some beautiful journals and make room to make more. Here is the back cover. You see a layer of fabric, and then another layer of fabric, and then a layer of the mulberry paper, which looks so pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and put my stamp in here, my maker's stamp. The mulberry paper is pretty chunky, so I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm going to try to find a flat spot. This is probably the flattest, although it's not very flat, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to press down really, really hard and hope that it works out okay. You know, you can't go re-stamp it, right? Once it's done, it's done. All right, let's give it a look. Okay, it worked. It worked. Okay, I'm happy with that. So here is this journal, my friends. I hope you like it. It's available in my Etsy shop. It's just, I don't know. It's just so pretty and feminine. I just love it. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this. Hopefully you can see how those papers, don't they look nice on the edge torn like that? Just love it. All right, friends, thanks for watching. See you soon.